So Pirates very interesting, and Pirates man badlala ibhola ngendlela iPirates kumele idlale ngayo. Le meaning yazi score in style. You can tell philosophy Pirates. I love watching Pirates currently mina. Yeah, Pirates in Richards Bay. So I know kuzoba number 4, 5, 6 lapha goals.
Thibaut Touch and Luke Love reunited in the studio in South Africa. It's been a globetrotting week for the two of them. Cape Town via Miami and back in Auckland Park. See them again next week between 3 and 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's by far the best drive. 8 after the hour 6. Welcome to it. It's Podcast Friday. It's Sports Night Amplified with Andile and the Mighty Metro FM. And as per usual on Podcast Friday, the guys are here. The big conversation today is the weekend's games. Are we going to see a sure relegation candidate by the end of this weekend? There's a big game this evening as well. Ernst Middendorp came on last night to speak about Cape Town Spurs. What do the guys make of what he had to say? What about the conversation around the best midfielder in South Africa? Does Tebogo Mokoena, who's, played a lot less than what he did last season, does he stand a chance against Tito, Maswanga and Yeto, Orlando Pirates? What about the young players out at Cape Town, at Stellenbosch in Cape Town? Jaden Adams has been amazing. You got Titus as well, and the crop of players there. Do they feature when it comes to what we're going to be speaking about as far as midfielder of the season is concerned? We'll also be going to a conversation we had with Clinton Larson coming up to the DSTV Premiership, congratulating him, and of course, what does he need in order to compete in this league? Thabo September. Yeah, the racist gate. But we sorted that one out. We know there was no racism. But what there is one of the most popular players, and possibly, according to the team, one of the best players at Chippa United could be leaving. How do they do without him? Junior Khanye is our special guest. Ash, we don't even have time. I forgot to go to Brian Balo. He said that Chiefs need to go get Dennis Onyango. I forgot, but it's a story for another day. We'll get into it. It's top after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's Podcast Friday, and as per usual, Nadim, he's former SABC researcher and statistician, a man that knows the numbers when it comes to his football, and unfortunately, an Arsenal fan. Eta?
Wait. What do you mean, unfortunately? Arsenal can still win the league.
No, you don't even believe that.
Yeah, if Tottenham can beat Man City.
No, come on. Nadim.
Yeah, they cannot draw.
You believe that? You believe Arsenal can still win it?
No, of course they can. If Man City drew at Tottenham. But obviously they're rivals. Tottenham will just allow Man City to score. They can't.
13 after the hour 6. Also, with us in our midst, of course, is former Choma Cosmos Wits Moroka Swallows player. It's Mark Haskins, who's nowadays taking care of players. It's not fair to say agent, because that's not all you do. You're like a big brother to the players. I should call him that.
Word, actually.
Agent.
Yeah.
So what is the new term for it?
There's so many negative connotations to it. Representative, player representative, or whatever you want to say, but just the agent thing just doesn't sit well with me. I guess maybe because of my experiences in the past. Yeah.
And the nice thing about having Mark as a player agent, of course, or player representative, like he says, is he's a person that's been through it, knows what not to do. So very safe hands are your little ones in his hands. And then our special guest, Ibwile Kakrapa Junior.
Hey, Andile kunjani my brother?
Usashuthi reality boy.
Yeah, I shoot a reality TV. Mara next week ngiyaqeda mfethu ngithi nge-11 mediqala zika July 6 kumzansi wethu. So I'm very very humble. Also shooting a podcast Junior Khanye Khohlwa. Yeah.
When does it start?
The podcast will starting next week.
Junior Khanye Khohlwa.
That's a reality.
What is it about?
Indaba sikhohlwa idama.
Oh man.
Yeah, superstars sasikhohlwa. Mina ngizoba celebrate abajit. Not like movie ball exceptional. But the slogan Junior Khanye Khohlwa.
Tell me one player that you think is star. Is this Khohlwa?
And Khohlwa opamanyisa ngespeed.
That's true. Bonne tournament Nodilas.
Yeah, I Junior Khanye begane Junior Khanye top 8 KO. Tournament winner 8 teams bebanga affiliate. The winner took 50,000 fethu. First time in the tournament mfethu ngathendeka kahle ukukhila buqala eBreds yang beku motivation to me. After in a week ngayenze mfethu 27 qale nge27 naphela nge28 bekhona ama superstars lapha bo Skepen Getula bekhona ama 1010 khona Mamba khona bu USB
COVID ngifan blind ye Mamba yo.
mara bekhona izinja ama-underdog lapha angithi imamba ye-hype sometimes yes bakhona bo-blackberry true but bengikhethe nje i-cream but well done to ama-1010 bayithathile abajida and ngibonge i-support vid ikaslams wethu val because ama-team bekwama-different ama-location so I'm very very humble especially i-support le banginike yona thanks to WSP World Sports Betting ngibrand ambassador yabo but for them ukuthi baze in-numbers nomzansi wethu as well sayinike ilo na-credit.
Why were you not there finding players?
How did COVID-19 do?
Yeah, it's talent, bro. Val.
The team at COVID-19.
It Tony Brazil and then Val Spain.
16 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Let's go straight into it. There's topics from the week that we need to discuss. We've talked about the best midfielder of the season. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a Tito versus a Mokoena conversation. And then lastly, the games of the week. Gents, let's start here. I had Ernst Middendorp last night on the show with some great conversations. Kept him way longer than we were supposed to. But his view is that had he taken over this team a little bit earlier, it would not be where it is. And he's basing this on the fact that he's looking at the 11 games that he's been fully in charge since the end of AFCON. Because that's when he's been fully in charge. He's changed the team then and he's done it his way. He's gathered enough points and he would have been at least in the top 8. Have a listen.
You take this 11 games, comparing it in the league table with each and everybody, we are in position 7. You take only all the games in 24, played 11 games, position 7. We are in the top 8 running. But I was very clear about it, beginning when I said if chasing something impossible, in the end, if it is working and you stay in the league, you have to be in the top 4.
Gents, firstly, you know the games remaining for Ernst Middendorp. Reflect on what he said. Since taking over the team, since Sean Bartlett left, and then tell me what you think his chances are beginning with SuperSport today. Mark, let me start with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's an uphill battle for them still. When you look at the log positions, it doesn't read well for Cape Town Spurs, especially given the SuperSport game today. I think they have to make sure that they do the business today because if they lose today, that unfortunately will be curtains for their season and they will be campaigning in the lower division next season. But the performances they have put up, they put up some really brave performances. And, you know, if you look at what the coach is saying, I think it's easy to say that, you know, now. And when you look at the way he does his business, maybe he would have done better with this team, but I still feel the team themselves let themselves down the season. I don't think they did enough business in the off-season to avoid what they're facing right now. I don't think they signed enough in terms of squad depth.
What Ernst is saying is it's the same players. He's taken over them. And look at what they've done. They managed to win 4 games for the first time. They drew 2. They only lost 5 in comparison to the games they were losing.
For me, it's easy, like I say, it's in hindsight, if he says that the results he's had now would have been replicated in the first round, you can't say that. That's not the reality. What I do appreciate is that Cape Town Spurs have a lot of young players, talented young players. Dortley, Byrne, Nwabali, Siviwe, Asavele. There's so many young players, Bartman, and all those players really stepped up in the second half of the season. But if they started the season with those very same players, would they have performed the same? Even if it was under Coach Middendorp. I mean, under Middendorp, he started the season. I don't think you can say that.
When he started the season, remember, he took over.
That's what I'm saying. Again, like, I just feel that Spurs didn't do enough in the window to give themselves a fighting chance in the league.
Nadim?
Yeah, Spurs, they thought they can survive in the PSL with NFD players, which it's very difficult to do. I honestly think if the team, irrespective of who was the coach, even Sean Bartlett, he took the same team that promoted from the NFD and think he can compete in the PSL. You can't do that. It's almost impossible. It's difficult. So I agree with Mike in that point that in the transfer window, they didn't do enough when the season started.
So the team let Sean down. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, of course, definitely. They didn't have enough players
but
to
Nadim,
stay there.
It's the same players Ernst is using and he's winning games.
No, but he did recruit. He did some recruitment here and there. And he's not winning games.
He's won 4.
Exactly, 1-4, but...
Compared to how many?
Yeah, but...
Sean won what, 1?
Yeah, yes, but...
No, nothing actually.
He didn't win any.
He didn't win any.
He didn't. He lost all the games.
Yeah.
But we can't say that he knew when he was taking this team. He was had to save the team from relegation. This team will be relegated, 100% guaranteed. So I'm not sure.
Are we relegated?
100% guaranteed relegated.
Automatic relegation.
Yes, there's no other way. He knew when he was taking the team that he was supposed to save the team from relegation. Now what discussing the last point is just trying to be smart. I mean, it doesn't. What he's saying is actually unnecessary. He was hired to save the team from relegation. This team will be relegated either this week or next week. That one is guaranteed. So he can say in the last 7 games, he was not hired for 11 games. He was hired to save the team, and he's failed to save the team from relegation.
Junior?
Yeah, I mean, the problem, Andile. One number directors, why signing players and then employ the coach after? Problem calling a technical team, Town Spurs the director. If really, honest whatever statistics is saying, Manji, which yes, true. Lama game, Joba sign a player, especially after AFCON will break. We were winning a game 4. He lost about 5. He threw, if not mistaken, Sakumbulingak. Ukulmevar.
He lost 5, drew 2, 1, 4.
But you right to Nadim. He was signed to save the team. It's unnecessary whatever he's saying now. Sharp uzamuguti maybe repetition identity, but he was signed to save the team. I mean now agasana excuse. I mean useleng ama game 3 or 4 of to save the team. He mustn't come with now lentomela ikhulume after mhlambi season iphelile. Now we need to save
or write a book.
Yeah, because lenta ikhuluma I mean ngikhuluma nange director mina. Effect ukuthi why signing players and then bring the coach after.
Yeah, Junior, I hear you. But then, I guess what we're saying is there should be a lesson in this. And one of the big lessons, Mark, here was in and around how you qualify to get into the DStv Premiership. The time that you have to not only recruit players, but to get players ready if you qualify perhaps through the playoffs. You don't have that much time. Clinton Larson hasn't. He's qualified way ahead of time. Enough time to perhaps look at his team and decide what to do. We spoke to Clinton Larson after qualifying my guests to the DStv Premiership. This is what he says as far as recruitment is concerned.
I'm probably 10 players away.
10 players?
Quality players with NFD PSL experience. Probably 10 quality players away. I say 10 because you need depth as well in the PSL. So we're going to try and make sure that we've got all our bases covered. I have an idea in my head already who I want to bring in. I've already spoken to certain players.
Mark, I'm going to come to you. I know you keep a very close eye of the lower leagues as well. 10 players is what Mike KC needs to be competitive. And he says players with experience at this level.
I think that's what he's done well. I mean, if you look at the players that he brought into the NFD structure, the players there that have PSL, NFD experience, top level players from the past, and they've gotten them to that point. But he knows exactly what is needed to survive. I mean, this is a Clinton Larson who's coached at the top level for many years. And he won't want to replicate what Cape Town Spurs have done this season. He'll want to make sure that you are covered. And he speaks about having depth. And so you need at least 2 players per position. And when we say 2 players per position, we're talking about like for like replacements. You can't have, a player that's playing at a really high level and then his sub or the replacement for him is a world apart. You have to have strong competition in the PSL, where also in each position, nobody's guaranteed a place in the team. Nobody must expect that they're automatically in the starting lineup, because there must be someone pushing them really close for a starting place in the team. That's how you create strong competition. That's how you're competitive every week, because you know that if you go out and you just relaxed and you chilled, someone else is going to take your spot and someone else is going to take your job, basically. And so those are the things that factor in. And so he's, I don't think he's that far off. He knows exactly what it takes to compete at that level. And I can understand why he's saying he's about 10 players short.
Nadim, 10?
Yeah, he needs more than 10 actually. Otherwise he can be relegated. Depending, it's not like he's going to get quality. The quality 10 players, all the teams, they will keep their quality players. So he just need a new team, like at least 16 players. Look, he must do what Skokune did when they signed him, Tambo and them. That's how Skokune survived in the PS. They signed a lot of players when they came in. You need to do that. If you don't do that, you'll be relegated, simply because the standard of the PSL is so different to the NFD. The NFD is a lower division for a reason. The players who are you can't come in the NFD with the same team and stay up in the PSL. So I agree with Clinton Larson, and I like the fact that he's a highly experienced guy who played local football. He understands it very well. He knows that with the same team, he's going to be relegated, just like Cape Town Spurs. But now he needs at least more than 15 players to stay up. If not, because he's not going to get the players who are already starting in the PSL. That's another problem with me. He's going to get players who are bench warmers in their team. Then you'll now give them game time. Again, it's going to be a huge problem. But I think he's in the right thought when he says he needs at least 12 players. That's a good start.
Said 10. What you said Chiefs
12.
need how many? He said 10.
Is it 10?
Yeah, he says 10.
I said Chiefs need 12.
Oh, Chiefs need 12.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Andile i-reputation yakhe coach wayazi ukuthi ukwaba out ku-top class football and ushilo ngimamela interviewini naye imlimazile ama-emotions uzwile athi ne-family they were involved and i-family yakhe to relocate to kwenye province and it's very difficult ungayithatha light ukuluza umndeni wakho mfethu ngenxa yali ibhola go to lower division. It's very, very difficult. He need team. He need about 15 players. Yeah, and right, he's not gonna get start abantu bebaqala.
Yeah.
Okay, ayiki team ezolethi superstar.
He's not gonna go to home kwena or maswanga.
Or he's gonna guarantee he's gonna get players a free agent. Players that never renew a contract now. Bamloanele wona, and they will never loan at best players on my team. So they will loan them players maybe second best.
They will loan Gonzalez.
You know that Sundowns won't loan players to him, and then it's one of the best team is Sundowns. Pirates won't loan. Currently, Pirates one of the best for me. So it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna get Bomazulu probably. Mhlambe kwamanye ama team. Le team they are competing nayo. Mhlambe lebe ku number 2. Most team abuya ku NFT Municipal Foundation Championship. But hatabo number 2 ma players. La team second.
Pretoria University.
And it's wrong. And
JDR,
he's gonna go back. He need to get learn his lesson. Manje Clinton. He need about 17, 15, 17 players.
Right.
You need more.
Again, and I think it's important when even signing, you don't just sign again. And I think Curtin Larson is a really astute coach and he knows what he's doing. You know, if you don't need superstars to be competitive, even in the PSL, to be honest with you, I don't think he needs to go and, sign 17 or whatever the case may be. If he signs properly, if he signs players who suit his style, and I think that's something that a lot of times, a lot of teams probably get wrong. You can have good players that don't necessarily fit your style of play or don't suit the way you want to play. It's important now for him to recognize exactly what he needs, the style and type of player that he wants, and then he makes sure that those are the players he targets. Yes, you need players, but you don't just need to be signing a whole lot of players, because if you sign players who are unhappy at their former clubs, what motivation also is that sometimes you're just signing problems for yourself as well. It's very important, and I think with the type of manager that he is, I think he knows what he's looking for. As he's already said, he's spoken to a couple of players already, and I don't think he's just going to sign willy-nilly.
Well, there you go. It's different minds here. Mark seems to think 10 is enough. Junior Nadim seems to think, 15 and above is where you need to be setting yourself. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do that, I want to just quickly get into this one here. Bradley Grobler. Bradley Grobler is got a lot of accolades in the DStv Premiership. He's the third highest goal scorer of all time, behind Unomvete as well as Peter Shaluli. Peter Shaluli is the only one that's still playing. The two of them eyeing that accolade, Yaga Nomvete. He's 36 at the moment, but still says he feels good. He can still play. You look at his stats, Bradley. You look at how many times he showed up for Bafana. This is a player who, in the 16 years that he's been part of professional football, has netted 10 plus goals in more seasons than anyone else. Right? Even this season, he's over 10. He's met his 100 goal mark. He only showed up for Bafana 11 times. There's 10 years missing through injury in that career. Did we miss out on one of the greatest possible soccer players who's South African? Have a listen to what Bradley Grobler said about his PSL history.
Yeah, and again, I mean, that sounds great, but, I just look at that big gap between the first and the second set.
There is a big gap. It's about almost 10 years.
Yeah, and I think that probably those years that let me down. So, but again, I'm grateful for where I am, what I've done, and hopefully I can add to that.
So basically what we're saying here, Mark, is between 2010-11 season and 2019-2020 season, Bradley Grobler's injury hampered him to a place where he hardly featured full seasons. He'd get injured, he'd get out the season, the injury wouldn't heal properly, he'd get out. But despite missing out on full seasons for 10 years, he still scored over 100 goals.
I mean, number 3 on the top scorer chart. That's phenomenal. I mean, that's a great record. He is. I had the privilege of playing with him my last season.
At Supersport, yeah?
Was at Supersport, and so we played together. I think he joined halfway through the season. We got up to the Nedbank Cup final that year. And yeah, I got to see him at his best. He is, he's in between a target man and a runner. He is not the player that's going to play with his back to goal and hold the ball up. And is not exactly like a sprinter where, he's nippy, moving around defenders. But what he does is he's in the right place at the right time, and that's a predatory instinct. He knows the spaces to be in, and that's why when you see the goals that he scores with his head, with his feet, he's in the right place at the right time. And that a lot of people don't understand is a skill in itself. And that's what sets him apart. And so,
did we miss out though from a national team point of view? Do you think that cheated us of what could have been greatness? Because he's got like 11 caps, I think it is.
But the reality is, if you look at what you're saying and the stats you're talking about, that's probably why he didn't feature in the national team. He wasn't fit for long periods of time. And so we'd see him in bit parts. He'd score goals. We always see him scoring goals. But the reality is, I think injuries are probably the reason why he only has 11 caps. He's always been amongst the front runners when it comes to goal scorers. So yes, I would say his injuries probably hampered him quite a bit, and that's probably why we didn't see enough of him in a Bafana jersey.
I mean, if you're telling me that somebody who's played 16-year career and 10 years of that he was injured the whole time, and he's sitting on 112 goals, which is 2 goals behind Peter Shalulile and about 10 goals behind the leading goal scorer of all time, Siyabonga Nomvete. I think that's remarkable.
Indeed, it is remarkable. If you look at also, credit to SuperSport United for having patience with him.
He's a very lucky boy. Yeah, must be said.
Yes.
To be kept with all those injuries.
Look at Ncube at Kaizer Chiefs. He was brilliant in one season. Then the next season was injured. He was gone. No, honestly speaking, Ncube for me is the best Chiefs signing in the last 10 years. And look what he did at Kaizer Chiefs. He nearly make them win the league.
Okay, pause it there because I want Junior's opinion on that. The best signing, and Nadim, just give him a chance.
Okay.
The best signing at Kaizer Chiefs, according to Nadim, over the last 10 years is Ncube.
Standard, there was no one who's raising his hand. But truly speaking,
of course.
But when you check the record in Kulmangi history, Kaizer Chiefs.
No, in the last 10 years.
That's why I need to check. In the last 10 years, the quality be surrounding him. There was no one who could this is the best signing for us. Yeah, with that, I need benefit of the doubt, but now for me,
Nadim, sorry, you're still speaking about Bradley Grobler.
I honestly feel that he is lucky to have a guy like Stanley Matthews. Even if he can be injured the whole season, will come in and bring him back in the team. If he was playing any of the big teams, even Sundowns, he was never gonna be. He will not be in that.
And
team.
He had the offers, of course.
Yeah, but who signed a player was injured. That's the thing. Look at Majoro. Majoro was a very good player, but again, he went to Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, Cape Town, Amazulu, Vets. But he had the guy who's going to look after him. Even if he's injured, he knows that he's got his place back in the team. So I think that credit to Stanley Matthews for giving me a benefit of that, for supporting him. Otherwise, I wouldn't say he's one of the greatest PSL players. But obviously, behind Kahlo Mpela, behind so many great players, PSL players.
How, when he's outscored them?
Mpela overall was a better striker than Bradley Hope.
What do you judge a striker on? Isn't it on goals?
It is goals, but sometimes if you look at the quality of Mpela that's why Mpela had more caps than him.
But the quality we judge on striker, we judge what you call real.
Yeah,
Bradley's outscored him.
But he did outscore
by
him.
Far.
He did outscore him, but who was playing for SuperSport United, not winning. When he was playing for SuperSport, he never even won a single league title.
And imagine this. Bradley outscored him at SuperSport United.
Mpela won a league with
that
Sundowns,
was playing
right?
at Chiefs. This is a player that was playing at Sundowns.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just saying he's the kind of a guy, he never won a league title. He's the kind of striker that he will score goals for you, but he's not the kind of guy who's a title-winning striker. That's how he is.
But that's a team.
Mpela was a title-winning striker. There's a difference between, like Shaulile. Shaulile is a title-winning striker. There are players who can score goals for you, but they're not going to win you titles. That's the difference. Like Lipasa he can score goals, but he cannot win titles for you. When you look at Bradley Hopper, yes, he stayed long at SuperSport, and they supported him. Even now, I think even his contract is different from other players. I think Stanley Matthews just call him and say, hey, let's sit down. What do you want next season? So,
Junior, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, in fact. The guy is so great, in fact. We need to be honest. Maybe celebrate. And it's unfair to compare him, especially in Jarabe now. To compare the guy, he stays as I show Mark Wuti. The 10 years the guy he never played. In Kulma injury, he is very unfortunate. But yet again, the guy wears also by the best top 3. Nkuluma Nomvete and Shalulile and him now. and ukuthi kuyaba like career yakhe yathi step back with 10 years. Credit to the guy. It's their players that were playing consistent week in and week out. We understand the surrounding in those teams playing with superstars. We understand, but they never achieve what he has achieved. So it's unfortunate the national team not been called for me, it was because of these injuries. But credit to SuperSport as well for being professional in 10, the support that they gave. Another team, the injury that our Tolela, but because of let go. So I know, for me, he's one of the best, my brother.
At 36 years old, Bradley Grobler scored 10 this season behind Ribeiro, Ikram Reyners at 14, and Sakhofa Mabasa.
So do you think it was better than Katlego Mpela as a striker?
I think if you're judging a striker based on scoring goals, he scored the most goals. If you're judging a striker based on what he's been able to do,
remember Mpela also played overseas.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So did Bradley, but he was injured for a long time. If I ask you Katlego Mpela's credentials overseas, I'm not sure if they're going to hold up. You know, Bradley Grobler here at home, if you compare home to home, how many games he's won, what team he's playing for when he's both, even if you judge them both with their SuperSport careers, Bradley Grobler still comes out top for assists and goals. So if you're judging according to impact, Bradley Grobler is at the more impact. If you're saying you need a striker who's a classier player, I mean, Haaland, if you're comparing a Haaland to a Berbatov, you know, Berbatov is a better player. He's more skilled. He can do things.
In 2010 World Cup.
But a Haaland will score more goals. So it depends on what you like.
For me, there's a reason why Mpela was always Bafana striker when he was fit.
1840 on the Mighty Metro FM. A very quick one here. Tabo September says that chances are Nwabali is leaving Chippa.
Yeah, I think not the right word to use, but I think there is, of course, there's a high possibility of losing him. I don't think it's a fear. That's what the club is about. It's about giving players a platform, an opportunity, be it a player or coaches that have gone through this club. So it's the circle of it. It's just, of course, yeah, it's huge for us.
How big a loss would it be, Junior, if nobody was to leave Chippa?
Yeah, but the guy's done well. He's done very well in Nigeria. I think but final and first choice. Deserve whatever high blame fit. I mean, numbers don't lie, Andile. Is done well against the smaller team. Chippa check his surrounding in those are not high profile players. So uphinde check nendlela abadlala ngayi Chippa. Mina ngifuna ukunderstand philosophy yabo. Chasing coach like time to time philosophy but different. Yeah, understand it very difficult. But the goalkeeper him alone. He stand ngimnika one of like he played ube ne season ekrand. And also AFCON is done well afika final. And uyabasiza mfethu. I mean iChippa nayo ku relegation mangibukela amagame mina nyebukela iChippa. I'm sure na relegation relegation zone ngabida, but the goalkeeper it's a big blow mfethu. It's going to be difficult to find more or less the goalkeeper.
If he doesn't go overseas, is there a local team that you think needs a keeper of the caliber?
Yeah. For me, I know with the Pirates in China, but you need a strong goalkeeper. China was guba stable. You need somebody ingabi obvious. We understand, but me now I'm scared because Sundowns can spend now. And but don't say Mchita, let go Onyango and let Mchita compete in Ronan Williams because
two best goalkeepers in the continent. Yeah,
yes, true.
Nadim?
Yeah, he's a very good goalkeeper. We saw him during the AFCON. Even anyone who doesn't watch Chippa, watch Nigeria during the AFCON. I mean, from the time that when Chippa McGann congratulated Nigeria for beating South Africa and said,
good luck to Nwabali.
Yeah, we knew that he's going to sell him. Obviously, he's going to cash in. He's 27 years old. Chippa United, they know how to scout players. I don't think it's going to be a huge blow when he leaves. Even the number 2 goalkeeper is from number 1 from Namibia. So I think they will always get someone who's not always equally good, but they can get a suitable replacement. He's a quality goalkeeper. A lot of PSL players.
Where do you see him in the PSL if he's going?
I think you need to go overseas. Nigerians who are that good, they usually play overseas. If he goes to Pirates or all the teams, actually, I think even SuperSport need him. They need a goalkeeper, a solid goalkeeper. Orlando Pirates need a solid goalkeeper. Yeah, because the Ofor is leaving, we know for sure. Then I think Sundowns, obviously, Williams and Onyango, they are equally good. So I think he just need an abroad move if you look at him, because playing in the PSL, if you are playing for a number 1 goalkeeper from Super Eagles, then you play in the PSL. No, I don't think so.
Mark?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. And you ask yourself, what's the price tag? What price tag are Chippa putting on his head? and who from a local perspective would be able to afford him. And so Sundowns don't need a goalkeeper. I think they've got probably 6 of the best keepers in the league. And then do Pirates need another goalkeeper? I think they've got 2 of the brightest young keepers in the league. I don't think so. I think a lot of people are unfair to the likes of Bruce Vuma. He's done exceptionally well for Kaizer Chiefs under pressure. And so do Kaizer Chiefs...
You don't think Kaizer Chiefs need a senior goalkeeper? I think they made a mistake by letting go of Umfundis. What's his name?
Daniel
Akpe.
Akpe. They did
I think
make a mistake.
Akpe, even at Swallows now, I think
so
Akpe is showing
when does Vuma become a senior keeper? Like, has he not done enough to...
No, he's not done enough.
How long is it Kaizer Chiefs?
Exactly, and how much of a chance has he really
and
been
how
given?
old is he? He's always promising.
How much of a chance has he been given? No, and let's talk about it.
No, he hasn't gotten much of a chance. He didn't get much of a chance when Itu was still there. He was second. When Akpe was there, he was third. So he hasn't gotten much.
But do you think he can be a goalkeeper in a title-winning Kaizer Chiefs? He's not.
Can he?
For me, he's not
the Kaizer Chiefs have a title-winning squad right now.
No, the question is, can he be a goalkeeper in a title-winning? Because Chiefs,
I believe he can. Honestly, in all honesty, I do believe he can.
Shut it down for us.
But the mistake that is done, look at the goalkeeper, goal Chippa United, the second goal. They throw in, Chippa throws, they are flick. We are down 2 goalkeeper go 6 area.
Williams doesn't
and then
do
it's
that.
done. I could provide in a weekend. We answer the same thing over the weekend now. So
Williams doesn't do that.
How many games has played?
so then obviously that's the most likely place if he's supposed to go to a local team. Kaizer Chiefs is probably the only team he can go to, or he's going to go overseas.
But we know he's not going to go to Kaizer Chiefs.
It's a massive... why not?
I just know.
1845, we're going to shut it down here. We're going to move the conversation to the next phase now, because I want Opta Jabu to come in. But before that, I want to hear your guys' opinions, and I'll give you the statistical fact on the players in the midfield, because Opta Jabu's got them. But also, we need to give him his flowers, so we'll play him a little something. Mankaleng Hawe Nadim, Best Midfielder Award. Now, the criteria is simple. For instance, strikers, Jabaz. Peter Shalulile is a striker. If you go to Pirates, Lepasa is a striker. We're talking about midfielders, not attacking players. Attacking players are still midfielders. Ribeiro is still, Maswanganyi is still, Stebe is still in the midfield. So attacking players count here. This is per sort of wingers, all of that. Who's your top 3?
My top 3
order, 3, 2, 1.
Number 1 is number 1. My top midfielder is Teboho Mokoena. There's a reason why Sundowns are leading the league, because remember they won the first 15 games of the league. That's why they won the league basically. Now of course they've not been consistent, but Mokoena was a brilliant player, was solid there. And I know that he's only played 15 games in the league, but I think those 15 games are good enough for him to make him the best, because he's an elite midfielder.
15 games?
Yes.
And he's the best?
He's the elite. He's the best simply because in those 15 matches, which equals to 40, they won all the first 15 matches Sundowns.
So every game he played, he won, is what you're saying?
Not every.
Because I was about to say there were some draws.
But 1 or 2. But almost like 99%, 95%, they won almost all those games.
Okay,
and they were key. Maswangai has been brilliant. Like 8 men of the match or 9. I think is one of those players who has done well from SuperSport United. I mean, that was a good signing from Orlando Pirates.
3.
And then another one, Jaden Adams. There's a reason why he was selected to be part of the Bafana squad, and Stellenbosch are doing so well, and it's part of consistent. It's him who's marshalling things in the middle of the park.
Mark, who's your 3? Best midfielder of the year?
Yeah, I think it's the ssame 3 for me when I looked at it.
In the same order?
Yeah, I would say it's a tough one, to be honest. But Teboho Mokwena's presence is massive. When you look at when he's like now he's injured, as much as yes there are replacements for him, but it's not like for like. If we're being honest, it's not like for like, and he has set himself as the premier midfielder in the country, and he shows it with his performances. He steps up with some crunch goals as well. He hasn't maybe scored as much as he should have in the league this year, but I think his presence on the field warrants that, and so I still feel he's the best midfielder in the country. Maswanganyi definitely. If you look at how well he's done, and Nadim says his first season at Orlando Pirates, and I don't think anyone would have expected him to be as good as he's been for Orlando Pirates this year. He's been really remarkable, exceptional. And then Jaden Adams for me as well. Both of them, I think Maswanganyi, if I'm not mistaken, 10 goal involvements, 5 goals, 5 assists in the league. Jaden Adams is 3 goals, 6 assists in the league, 9 goal involvement. So those two also are in with a shout.
Junior, I know you're going to give me something different.
Yeah, I do.
1, 2, 3.
Tito Masonga, Yo. Yeah, one of the best talent. Askulma gune gift Andile. Tito remind me of Emmanuel Ngobese. Effortless mfethu kunezinye izinto ezizenzakalayo. Tiko brought another thing iParis benganayo all these years ebebashota ngayo. I know many Paris bedlala ngespeed mfethu. Utito surprise opponents. Utiko will call up a game and surprise opponent, maybe different splitting pass. Maningi ama player figure Pirates is after isikhathi eside, but that player he figure up each and every move Pirates whenever abambi bola you can see that there's something that will happen. As Ashama stats show, I think if 5 assists if not mistaken.
5 goals, 5 assists.
5 goals and 5 assists in the league.
So that's
first season. And ukhumbule Andile mabuya kwamanye team, it's a Pirates ku SuperSport from Stars of Africa, SuperSport, and now Pirates. Ama player, ama expectations are high. Ufike lapho to a failure, but he came there fit like a glove. Second player, Tebogo Mokoena. Both Mamelodi Sundowns and national team, very important player. Remember Sundowns, they build up at the back, and that player going to the D-line center, collect the ball each and every move. Sundowns, that's how they play. They hardly go on side team, they go central, and Albambe turning. And it get involved also scoring vital goals, long range and consistent. So, elinye player that will. It's unfortunate ukuthi ngize ngithi midfield umfokeng. I understand, but for me,
he's a midfielder. Yeah.
Yes, for me, yes. Adams, one of the best umfana upcoming.
So your third would be umfokeng. Guys, I'm confused. Okay, firstly, tell us what umfokeng very quickly.
I ain't come a player eliminator in South Africa 1v1. Ngikhuluma player that it's hard to. I'm sure after my
Jaden is one.
Lentwana umfokeng. Credit.
Guys, I'm not hearing Allende. I'm not hearing Ribeiro. Yeah. Look at the goal contributions and the goal scored by a midfielder like Ribeiro.
You said you must name 3.
Now I'm asking why I'm not hearing those names. You think these 3 are better than Ribeiro?
I love
Mofokeng is better than Ribeiro.
But Ribeiro is international.
Answer the question. Is Mofokeng better than Ribeiro?
I'm Mofokeng Pele. Look at the age.
No, answer the question. How is he? Not the age.
Is he better than Ribeiro?
There's room for improvement. Age, okay.
But answer the question.
Yes, for me, yes.
Okay.
Mark, Ribeiro over Jaden Adams, you're saying is better than Ribeiro?
Is he a midfielder though?
Yes.
I don't
That's
know.
That's midfield. It's not a striker.
I think he's literally playing as a second striker. I don't.
He's a midfielder.
He's a midfielder.
I don't know. For me, I don't see him as a midfielder. I see him even when.
So if I say
when Peter Shalulile is not there, he's the highest man forward.
So if I say then he qualifies as a midfielder, does influence him coming on there?
I mean, he's in with the shout, but still, I think the 3 that we've mentioned, I still think Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you the stats now. Opta Jabu comes on. Lindelo Moya joins us all the way from Cape Town. Lindelo. Opta, are you there?
Yes. Good evening, Andile.
Listen, man, we had Bradley Grobler here on the weekend, and just during the week, and he had some amazing things to say about you and the work you do. Please have a listen first before we get into today's stats. This is Bradley Grobler of SuperSport United speaking about the account Opta Jabu.
Let me stop you there. Their stuff is incredible. I mean, I've seen a lot of their stuff, and all credit to them. I think that's something new in South African, football for me, and some of the stuff they come up with is absolutely incredible. Good read, and I could only advise anybody that doesn't, follow them on Twitter or whatever. There's some really good stuff on there. I really enjoy it.
So that's a nod for you there, Lindelo.
Thanks, Andile. Thank you to you and the legend as well.
Listen, I heard names from the guys, but they're names that I'm not hearing. If we look at this PSL season, maybe you should shock the guys a little bit. Who has created the most chances in the DStv Premiership from a midfield position?
So from a midfield position, most chances created, that goes to Fanele Barnes at Richards Bay, who's created 68 chances this season, at least 20 more than the next best, because also Napoli...
Hold it to that. Listen to this, guys. He's created 68 chances. That's number 1. It's Barnes. Number 2 has created 20 less chances. Who is it?
48 chances. We're talking about Osinapolis and Patrick Masongani.
All right, so none of them, besides Masangani, are in your top 3. Let's move on here a little bit and look at the stats. Most chances created from open play in the DStv Premiership.
Indeed, because a lot of Sanele Barnes' chances are coming from set pieces. So he's taking corners, he's taking free kicks as well and floating them into the box. But when you look at most chances created from open play, number 1 is Stephen Titus on 40. Number 2 is Patrick Masongani on 39. And number 3 is Sanele Barnes on 33.
Okay, maybe let's be more technical here, because the man sitting on the other side enjoys a good pass, does Junior. What about most successful passes in the DStv Premiership?
Most successful passes for the second consecutive season, Teboho Mokoena. He's on 1,070 passes this season. The only player with more than 1,000 passes in the whole division. Second best is Yusuf Mat, 854. And there's a tie at third best. That's Marcelo Allende and Grant Magaman, who are on 853. Just one pass behind Yusuf Mat.
Sanele Barnes makes it onto every one of the lists. Doesn't make it onto your guys' list.
Yeah, but he's not the best midfielder in the PSL. No. He's not even in the top 15 list.
Okay,
let's hear
my issue with your stats is everything is based on attack.
Yeah,
everything
no
is it's literally chances created and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
As if
you guys have Tito and Mufokeng. What do they do defensively?
No,
I had Mkwena.
When we talk about midfielders, we must look at the role of the midfielder in totality.
Tito, is he good at defending?
He contributes defensively.
No.
No. Listen, in a team setup, we don't see that much of him because that's not the role that he necessarily plays. He's on just about all the
he's
stats.
on 2 of the 4.
He's there. He's contributing in attack.
The time doesn't allow me, Mark. I want to go through it.
Midfielders, the role of the midfielder is a lot more complex than those stats are saying.
Linda, go games for this weekend very quickly. Let's go to, I'm going to pick one because it's a big one this year. Let's go to Pirates versus Richards Bay.
Yes, Andile Pirates have scored in 20 consecutive games in all competitions. Their best run since 2000-2001 when they had 22 games then. But then the caveat is that the last team to keep Pirates from scoring was Richards Bay, who they are facing this weekend.
I really appreciate you. Follow him on Twitter. It's at Opta Jabu. We've got 3 minutes, so it's a minute for each guy. Which game are you looking at this weekend?
Pirates and
Richards Bay. Yeah.
Pirates, it's a must win for them. They need to go to Champions League. And I was good to lose Oganyitro. Stellenbosch, their next 2, Bala, 5-2. So Pirates, very, very interesting. And Pirates, man, Bazali Pola and Pirates, meaning as score in style. You can tell philosophy Pirates. I love watching Pirates currently, Mina. Yeah, Pirates in Richards Bay. So I know also number 4, 5, 6 lap, I goals.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Pirates because if you look because this is their first. I always say this thing that Pirates will never win the league the way they do things now because now they have got a team that is so solid, is winning every game. But come June, you'll see them releasing 6 of those players and building a new team. Again, you expect them to beat Richards Bay tomorrow at Orlando Stadium.
What are you looking at, Mark?
Well, I think it's a big game tonight in about half an hour. SuperSport United against Cape Town Spurs. This could be D-Day for Cape Town Spurs, but they'll go into that game with confidence. SuperSport United, not quite the SuperSport we know under a Gavin Hunt. So they'll look at this game and feel that they can keep themselves alive in the league for at least another week. So I think that's going to be a very interesting encounter.
Guys, for the very first time, we're terribly sorry. The conversation, went... Play one, Nadim. Play one. Where are the guys? There they are. Play one. Quickly. Play one before Lilo comes in the studio.
Andile. It's Bongosmata from Thompsonville. Andile. Repero in midfield.
He's a midfielder.
What
is Ribeiro?
Even in all sections, they line up. Midfield.
Even wingers are not midfielders.
We call the criteria, guys. Wingers fall under midfielder. Nadim? Ribeiro? He's a striker.
Yeah, he's an attacking midfield.
Wingers.
No, is he a striker?
Let me just say, in modern football, then maybe we need to relook this.
But I'm asking, is he a striker?
No, Ribeiro. Yes.
A striker, Mark?
He's not.
He's a striker before he's a midfielder. No, honestly, guys, listen. Even a winger is not considered in modern
where's
football
Rulani? Can we give him a quick call? We need to give Rulani a quick call here.
But now
what are you positioning?
Yeah, in midfield, attacking midfield.
Attacking midfield.
Yes.
Attacking midfield.
No.
Okay, so when we do positions now, and we say 4-4-3 or 4-3-3. So are you telling me those three? There's midfielders in that front three. Are those midfielders? Do you understand? So when we say an attacking formation, we say 4-3-3. So we have three midfielders and three attackers. Those three attackers include a winger on either side.
Yeah, so you're talking about Bale, Ronaldo, and Benzema.
Yes.
Are you saying that Bale is a striker?
Yes.
No.
Is
All right,
Ronaldo
we gotta
not?
go.
Okay, is
So-
Ronaldo not a striker?
Me and my team, we're gonna go take this argument outside. Pela, Manzomi.